This conference will now be recorded.
Yay. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Public Safety Committee meeting Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 4:30. I believe all of our counselors are here. We have Angela online. The rest of us are in person. So I need a motion for approval of agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the agenda for the October 19th, 2021 Public Safety meeting as proposed.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second from Mr. Savino. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Hey, I need the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes from the Public Safety Committee meeting held on September 14th, 2021 as written.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Okay, I have a second from Savino. Now we're off to our regular items. Number 3, Mr. Meevers, our condemnations. Mavers, my Meevers.
Neighbors, but I'm going to defer to our code enforcement supervisor, Mr. Toby.
Hey, Mr. Toby, how are you? You're on camera, see? Excited?
There you go. Madam Chair and Councilors, I have 6 properties that are going to go on the condemnation list. We have a couple that are new owners, and the rest are properties that we sent out and never got any response.
Okay, no response at all? Okay. Do we have any questions from our counselor? Miss Angela, do you have any questions?
Well, I have decided I'm going to look over after the other day, last meeting, I'm going to look over these condemnations a little more because I don't want a repeat of that.
Okay.
My only concern is I guess I went over the last couple of lists, and is it that you started on the south side? Because it so looked like most of these combinations are coming on the south side and the east side. So I just want to ask that question. Did you start on the south side with these or what? Because I've noticed 8 on the base in general. And
No, Counselor, there's just properties that our building officials deem unsafe. It's just random. It's not anything in coincidence like going from south to north. It's just different spots.
Did you hear him, Miss Angela?
yeah, I heard them. They say that, but I just noticed that there are very lot. So when we started this list, I said I wanted to look like that. They're always trying to do, the east side and, or the south side of what's getting condemned. I'm sure there's some stuff on the other side of town that's not up to par either. But all I'm saying is I just see a lot on the south side and a lot on the base, because I pulled out my last 4 actually list, and there were 80% of them was on the south side or on the east side. So I'm not going against it. I just want us to make sure we're doing our due diligence when we're making these lists, because I can't imagine that you're not so busy that every week that y'all have to go look at all these places and make sure that somebody haven't started or whatever, because this is a shorter one, but like the last couple are kind of long. So I don't have any problem with this list, but I just want to, like I said, I wanted to go on the record to be careful that it's looking a lot is coming down on the south side. So
Okay, and I believe Mr. Matthews has a question, answer, comment.
Madam Chair, Councilor Moore, I can assure you that we have officers assigned. They're assigned to a specific area. As these officers find locations, those are turned into the building inspector. It doesn't matter to us, or they're not, we need some on the south side, north side. We don't do our jobs like that. I assure you that if there is a structure on the north side of town that needs to be on this list, code enforcement officers would place that on this list. All these homes letters have been sent out to them. These are the ones that we've gotten no response back from anybody. So this is only the next thing that we can do is to get it on this condemnation list And hopefully, as like last week at the council meeting, these people will come out and then visit with us and pull the permits that they need to bring their properties up to code.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? No? May I have a motion to pass this to full council, please? Or consent? Let's go consent. See what happens.
Good all.
I make a,
Go for it, Angela.
I'll make a motion to send the resolution 21XX condemnation to full council on the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Okay, so it moves on to full council on the consent agenda. We are going to number 4. Miss Beth, howdy. How are you? Blessed. You ready?
I'm ready.
You sure?
I am.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair and Councilors, we bring to you a resolution today. One of the biggest problems that we've had in emergency communications since I've been with them is the recruiting and retention of quality individuals that will do this highly impactful, highly stressful, high-risk job, really. Not on the local level by any means, because you are very supportive of us. The city of Roswell, the greater Travis County are very supportive of our team. But nationwide, there is a lack of recognition of these individuals as the dedicated professionals they have. Always. There's a nationwide agenda to reclassify them from clerical workers, as they are now, to first responders. This is a big agenda. We're not ready for that yet. The resolution I bring to you today is our first step. As I said, you've been very supportive of our team. We really appreciate that. This is a formal proclamation that the city of Roswell supports the communicators of the Pecos Valley Communications Center as first responders, and that they are in a high-risk, high-impactful situation, and that they should be recognized as such. It became really evident during the pandemic because there was actually a question of whether or not they were essential workers, not on the local level. Please understand that. This is the national level. And a lot of the stipends that were offered for critical personnel and first responders, they did not receive. So I bring this to you as a resolution. It does not have any financial impact as it is written now. As I said, this is the first step. I will come back to you down the line as the legislature moves forward and the para considerations and things like that are addressed. But this is just a show of support for 911 dispatchers and emergency operators that they truly are detrimental to the community. And with that, let's take the question.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Miss Angela?
Was the right word detrimental? I don't know. Did she say that they are detrimental?
Safety of the community, I should say.
Instrumental?
Instrumental. Often, it sounded like she said
That's
detrimental. So I was like, I think that's
that
the right
English.
word.
That's that English teacher there.
I think this is something that's very valuable, because I consider that job would be very stressful. I work with special needs kids, and I wouldn't do that job for nothing in the world. And I know mine is stressful. So I support, I don't know. I want to thank all of the counselors support you in this position and what y'all do what y'all do as communicators. So that's all I had to say. Thank you for all you're doing. And I didn't realize, so they don't get national recognition. That's garbage. Anyway, I'm done.
Thank you. Miss Judy?
No, I agree 100% with Counselor Moore. I just want to ask Ms. Best, you said legislature, I think you mean Congress, right? This is a bill out of.
There's local, there's state legislation being written as well.
Oh, okay, good.
Mexico. So there is a 911 States Act in Congress, but we're working on the Mexico legislature as well. So there's a bill being written for New Mexico.
So basically, we're supporting both?
Well,
This is just the one that's written now.
Okay.
it will infer or imply, it will imply support of this national.
So I guess, Madam Chair, I would hope that this goes both to our legislators and all of New Mexico's congressional delegation as well. Good.
This actually came out of, this actually came out of the 911 Directors Affiliate meeting.
Oh, good.
We were all together on this, and we're making the push
Okay.
on this now.
Good.
Try to get local level support to help us.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything?
I do. So I did a little bit of research on this. There's actually 7 senators and I believe it was 72 or 92 representatives in Congress that have co-sponsored this bill. 7 in the Senate, 72, I believe, in the House of Representatives. What the standard occupational classification system does, it classifies every employee in the United States into some kind of category. To my surprise, under the public safety, it had everything from school bus drivers to police officers and firefighters, but it did not have telecommunication dispatchers in that section. Like Terry said, they are classified under clerical. So what this would be doing is moving them into that area. What is used by the standard occupational classification system is the federal agencies use it for statistical data. And I'm sure it works like in law enforcement and police, especially in like fire, if they start seeing a lot of cases of cancer or needs for different type of protective equipment, stress, suicides, things like that, they track all that information in these classes, and that's how they make recommendations and things, safety precautions and recommendations for this class of employees. So it's good to get them in the correct class so that that data and stuff can be collected, and then appropriate PPE or training or whatever, or after career treatments and things like that can be developed.
Okay,
That's interesting.
okay.
Thank you.
Only other last question, the legal already reviewed that? Did I see that somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. Parker's. Those, yes.
I'll take it. Counselor Moore, the legal has reviewed the resolution. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because they need to be more than secretaries. They do way more than type. And it's, stress. And this is going to be like the occupational handbook that we teach, that the kids, our kids go through, when they decide on careers and stuff. And so I really think that being moved out of a secretarial place will open the doors for a few more people, I think. I know the stress, level may be a little different, but I think it'll open a few more doors, I think.
Okay. So do I have a motion for this?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to recommend a full council approval of the resolution supporting reclassification of 911 telecommunicators of the Pecos Valley Regional Communications Center as first responders.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second from Savino. Okay. So since I have a motion and a second, do I have everybody in favor? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It passes and goes to full council. Okay, we're on number 5. And this is Chief Miller. But I have a feeling that he's not the one presenting. Oh, you are.
He just got that.
Well, he said his poor guy over here. Doc Holliday. Throw Doc Holliday to the wolves.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. So this is basically just the next step from carrying over from our last council meeting where we asked to have approved to add the money to the PO to cover us. It's for this interim process of needing to get this RFP out to offers for bid. So basically, we're just requesting to be able to put the service and maintenance agreement contract out to bid with this RFP.
Smile, you're on camera. There you go. Okay. Do I have any questions on that? It seems to be pretty simple and it's a scope of work. Any questions, Miss Judy?
I don't know how simple it is. It's 22 pages long. It's pretty inclusive. No, I don't have any. Thanks.
She'll find something later.
Is that the RFP that you're looking at?
No, I'm looking just at the scope of work.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess it's not. must be the whole thing.
There are parts that are a little extensive. Most of that's just all the filler that has to be there.
So that's fine. No, it's very well written.
Okay, Angela, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. So do I have a motion for this to move to full council? Rock on, Judy.
Sure. Madam Chair, I move to recommend to full council approval of the RFP 22-007 fire apparatus prevention, maintenance, and repair services, and the scope of work included.
Second.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Miss Angela?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
Okay.
writing.
Oh, okay. All opposed, same sign. It passes to full council. Now we're on non-action items. We're not going to make our 6 minutes, guys. Sorry. Now we're on non-action items. So.
I guess so.
Okay.
I wasn't sure.
Your name is on there. Update a communication system project.
Right, Mike asked me if I give a little update on our communications project. So after, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 20 years, something like that, we finally have somewhat of a system operational. So it's split the simulcast, simulcast city, multicast countywide. Simulcast is up and running. It's been up for 2 months, 2.5 months. I haven't heard any complaints. I've asked and asked and asked, and I haven't heard any negative. PDs and full encryption, which they wanted. So that it's been transmitting just fine in full encryption. I listen to it. When I'm at my desk, I have it running so I can listen to it. So that's been up and running. I listened to in their structure priors and it sounds all right to me, but I'm not on scene, but it seems to be fairly well compared to what we had before. It's had a couple tests, not intentional. We lost a breaker at one of the sites. It failed over and nobody even knew it was down until we got the alert that there was a power failure at one of the sites, and nobody knew that the primary site was down. It happened again on the secondary site, went down, kind of different situation. The secondary site went down and kept on doing what I was supposed to do. So everything seems to be working with the simulcast portion of it. So multicast, we're kind of in a hang up still. Hagerman Tower is a big hang up. The county did choose to go ahead and spend the money, put a new tower up. It's in the process right now of being stood up. Hopefully next few months that'll be stood up, then we can continue with the multicast. There's some work to be done at Capitan, and hopefully we beat the snow. But if not, it'll be in the spring. It's a long ways up that mountain. There was a good test, so we're running simulcast is designed for just the city. The police department was involved in a high-speed chase that started here and went all the way through the county and into Carlsbad, and they were able to talk a little bit. They lost communication a little bit on this side of Carlsbad. So that simulcast was designed for the city, and it carried out that far without our multicast going. So once we get our multicast, we ought to be able to reach out. I've been having to travel a bunch for doctors back and forth to Albuquerque, and I take my portable and we drop it about Mesa is where it about drops off. So 45 miles out, it drops off over there. So it's holding pretty good.
Nice.
One little glitch that nobody was kind of thought of. With all this happening, PD wanted to be full encrypted. We can't talk to the state troopers. So Kenwood, there's 3 models of encryption. Kenwood uses one model, Motorola uses another model. They don't work together. So Kenwood's in the process of writing a interface firmware for their radios that will allow us to use their encryption method so they can state police will be back on. But once they're back on, then we should all be good. They'll be happy again.
Okay.
We brought animal control on. They're not on that system, but they're on a different radio system that ties directly back to dispatch, which they didn't have before. They just got on that a couple weeks ago.
Any questions?
And we have some dispatchers here, and Terry, that they can speak to.
To add on to Jeff, a couple things that we're having. One of the major things that we're having, I brought to you, the consoles, the dispatch consoles. Our dispatch consoles are not allowing priority transmissions, which what that means is the police can talk over our dispatchers right now. It should be the other way around. And we've been working on this since July, and the particular console we have has not found us a resolution yet. So we are having trouble with, not meaning to, but the police officers, when they're in the chase or something, they may end up acting on dispatch, which one of the main points of the system is that we have preemption on radio traffic. So that's an issue. They sound really good once you get used to that digitized traffic. We are having a lot better in the county. We are having some, I just found this out last night, we're having some local with the SO in the local area of our tower. So we haven't even brought that to close yet. I just found that out yesterday. I can't think what else. I think that's it. And then all in all, it was a very good switch over, very seamless, and I commend Co3 and Jeff's team and my team for that, because that should have been a nightmare and it wasn't.
Yeah, the console's been brought before, so we're using, I would get confused, Zetron, because we have Itron on the water park. We got Zetron as our consoles, and we've had them for ever. And they're just very cumbersome, very expensive, and they're not doing what we want to do. So that's been brought up before. One of our next things is looking at replacing the radio consoles on this.
So does the county help with that since it's 60/40?
They do.
Have we approached them on that?
I did inform them that I had made a request for ICO for that.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
okay,
It's not giving up on grants still.
okay. Well,
They're drying up a little.
do I have any other questions from anybody? Okay, I don't hear. Thank you. I appreciate you didn't smile enough for the camera, but okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Madam Chair and members of the committee. So I thought I'd just give you kind of an update on emergency management stuff. COVID has kind of slowed down just a little, or it's become the norm rather. So things that we're working on is we're still working on a mitigation plan. It has to go through several review processes. It went to the state for review. We made revisions. We've sent it back to the state, and I hope to bring it to this committee next month. So I'm hoping it's going to be on the agenda to go to full council in December so that we can just get that project finished. So just making the last revisions that the state wants, then it'll go to FEMA and hopefully then be adopted by all 5 jurisdictions. So it'll go before each governing body. As far as grants go, we're always looking for grants opportunities. There are several through Homeland Security that we're researching now. We're always looking, they're usually first responder grants, so they impact fire, police, emergency management. We are working on a grant with, it's not a grant, it's an MOA with the Department of Health, which has some really specific COVID planning tasks and deliverables attached to it, but it would be for around $42,000. And we're looking into that to see what we could spend those funds on. As long as I think they're emergency management related, it would be acceptable for that project. And it's already been reviewed by Parker, so we're working on that. Jill and I are taking a class started yesterday, FEMA grants class through the Emergency Management Institute. It's a 4-week virtual class. It's a fundamentals of grants management class. So since we are the subrecipients of most all of our grants are federal grants, even if they're administered through the state, they're just a pass through. So we're hoping that this class will kind of give us a better opportunity and a better in-depth look at the policies, procedures, and as well as networking with all the other people in the class. So it's already a lot of homework, and it's going to be a long 4 weeks, but so we started that. One of the other things that we talked about, I had an LEPC meeting last week, which is a local emergency planning committee meeting. And we talked about exercises. So due to COVID, we hadn't been doing a lot of training and exercise because we weren't allowed to gather in large groups. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to do the training. So the fire department trains, they're working on some training with Loprino. Loprino will then need to have an exercise this next year with like an ammonia release that would involve the fire department and other agencies. So we're working on getting those things set up and getting the pieces done. It will also be the airport's triennial drill. So every 3 years, FAA requires them to do a large full-scale exercise that involves everybody, the hospitals, fire, police, volunteer fire departments. It's a huge drill, and that will be due, Scott Stark said, by the end of September 2022. So we'll start planning that after the first of the year because it is such a large drill. It involves so many agencies, but we will need to meet their requirements. So we're kind of getting back to normal. We did a tabletop exercise last week with the Kidney Dialysis Center. So starting to get back to some of the more normal emergency management activities. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was Civic Ready. So we have a mass notification system called Civic Ready. The citizens have had it for quite some time, probably the last 5 or 6 years. You can go onto my webpage on the city or the county side. I have an emergency management page on both websites and sign up to receive alerts. They're primarily weather related, but we can use them for anything. If we needed to evacuate a specific area of town, a 1 mile radius, we can go in and use that mass notification system. But Civic Ready's partnered with another platform called Alert Sense. So it will be the same information coming out. It's just a different name on it, basically. And so that switch happens next week. So all the citizens that are on that system will get like a final text message. If you're used to getting those alerts on your phone, they come from like a specific number, like 80886. Well, that won't be the number it comes from anymore. But you'll get a message from Civic Ready saying, this is your final alert from us, and then they'll immediately get one from Alert Sense. So all that information in Civic Ready just transfers over. The citizens don't have to do anything different. It'll just transfer over, but that will happen next week. So Todd will put out something to the media or on social media, just letting people know, hey, if it looks a little bit different, it's just a new platform. It's not called Civic Ready, but it will be Alert Sense. And that's all I have. Available for any questions on anything.
Any questions, Miss Judy?
Not for me.
Miss Angela, any questions? Miss Moore?
No, no questions.
Okay. Okay, so we don't have to do anything with that. So thank you for your information. It's always good to hear from you. Information, department updates. Do we want to go to each department or we just want to ask questions? Do we have any counselors that have questions for any of our departments? Nicole, are you enjoying your romp in the kennels?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to make sure that you are all good.
We're good.
Okay. Okay, so if there's nothing else, our next meeting is November 16th, 4:30 right here, or B Square. We will call it at 4:57. Thank you, everybody showing up. Try to make it painless.
You need to get some dance. Just to let you know, Karen.
Yeah.
Page 53. I'm gonna start sending them a grant out.